Hey, what's going on everyone? Hope you're having a fantastic day so far. Today I'm going to talk about just a simple penny stock pattern. We're going to break down the chart of EDSA today. It was the best mover today and one of the best movers this week. Overall, this week has been pretty slow, nothing really too crazy. The whole name of the game right now is to understand how to be patient and be disciplined. The traders who are being patient and are disciplined and know exactly what stocks they like to trade and what strategies they like to trade are the ones who are winning right now. And the losers are the ones who are chasing breakouts, buying momentum, and just trying to make a play happen with every single stock. So we're going to break down some great lessons on technical analysis and discipline overall. So let's just get right to it. And also, I'm going to be doing a monthly giveaway at the end of this video. So it's a thing I do within the TradeBuddy community. Essentially, whenever you post a daily recap within our chat room channel, that's one entry for the raffle, and we give away about 250 bucks of gift cards. And I'm gonna be doing the drawing at the end of this video, so if you want to stick around for that, go ahead. If not, just watch the content, watch the information, and then you can just leave after that. So with that being said, let's get to the screen share. All right, so like I said in the video intro, I'm just gonna be talking about EDSA today, and I'm gonna do just my basic overall pre-trading checklist and just breaking down the best spots to trade this stock. So first of all, the way that we found EDSA was on our equity feed scanner. So this is a scanner that I really recommend to use. It's called equity feed. There's a link down below for it. And essentially what this scanner can do is you give it a bunch of parameters that you want to find. And it's going to give you a list of stocks that fit those specific parameters, and it has some cool features like giving you news. So we saw EDSA this morning because it was moving around in pre-market with some volume and it had some news. So open up the news. We can see that they received approval to initiate a clinical study in patients with hemorrhoids. The news itself doesn't really matter. All we need the news for, especially in low floats, is just to bring volume to the stock, bring hype to the stock. That's really all the news is for. It doesn't really matter what the news is, how good or bad. Now, of course, if it's great news, it has more potential to run. But at the same time, a stock doesn't need great news to run. Like we have seen stocks that have terrible earnings that go up like 1,000%. Case in point, PSTV a few weeks ago had absolutely terrible earnings and it gapped up from $4 and hit a high of $16 per share. They had crappy earnings, but because it had news and because it was a very, very low float, all it needed was volume to kind of stir the pot and get it running. So EDSA, we can see that looking at the daily chart, it does have history of spiking in the past. And the very first thing I do whenever I see a stock that may have potential to move during market hours, first thing I do is I have to mark off my levels of support and resistance on the daily chart. So let me just clear off everything on this line or on this chart. And the first thing I do is I just look to see, okay, so where could we see some potential levels of support and resistance on the way up? So one of the things I like to do is I switch to the line chart and just start off with that. And also what I like to do is whenever I'm marking off levels on my daily chart, I want to make sure that those lines are different color than the ones I use intraday, just because when I'm trading in the moment, it's easier to tell which lines matter more. So for EDSA, some lines that we saw were in the 440s. We had overall levels near $5. We had resistance at 750. We had some support around $6 or so. And I can just mark that off a bit better for you guys so you understand where that's from. So now as far as the $6 level goes, we can see that if I use the rectangle tool, you can see that this area acted as support, and all during this area acted as overall support too. So just so you guys can see that a bit better. Now, the one thing that I want to say too, when it comes to levels of support and resistance, is that they are not an exact point. It's not an exact dollar value that support is at. It's more of a range, like an area around wherever you draw the line. And one thing I found is that whenever this stock has a lot more volatility and whenever this stock has a lower float, that range is going to be a bit wider. It's not going to have like one exact point that's going to be acting as support or resistance. So with that being said, we have our levels on the daily chart marked off. So now we can go to the next step, which is, well, first of all, I forgot to verify the floats. Let's do that real quick. EDSA, you can see that it has a low float of 2.65 million shares. So it's the first green day on news, has volume in pre-market, has a low float, and has good range on the daily chart. So this is ticking off a lot of good boxes when it comes to day trading low floats. So now we go into the intraday, and we can see that right off the bat, it's already kind of respecting those overall levels that we gave pretty well. We can see that the pre-market top is right around $6 per share. And we can see that when market opened, the low of day was around 431, and that coincides pretty well with our line of 441. So now in terms of trading this intraday, this was a very hard one to trade, especially in the morning, just because it was so volatile due to it having so much volume and due to it being a low float. So like I said, the reason why I like to have my levels on the daily chart a different color is because we still need to make some lines intraday. So usually what I do for that is like a dotted white line. And in pre-market, we can see that the pre-market low was around this area in the 470s. And you can also use the line chart, but make sure you're only using it on the 5-minute. You can see the pre-market low was around 474. Oops, wrong tool. Pre-market low was around 474. And one thing that was really powerful, especially with using the line chart, is that after market opened, even though it was being so volatile, right? Even though there's such long top wicks, long bottom wicks, overall, it kind of held that pre-market support of the 474 area. And, if you can be a tiny bit creative, you can kind of see that there is an inverse head and shoulders forming. So if you had noticed this first shoulder, one second. Right here, and you notice this little head, and you notice this level holding as support, you could have, been buying using this overall level of support in the 470s, buying into that level, anticipating that because it's holding overall support and because it's trapping shorts underneath the VWAP, that's a thing that I teach really well within the Private Trading Academy, is that it's going to have a very good chance of testing the resistance at $6 and potentially breaking out because it is a low float. So that would have been the first prime time entry in there. If you had missed that, the next entry that would have been a very good one to take is, once market opened, we can see that the morning high was just around 525 right here. Let me just use a straight line to make it a bit more exact. You can see that the pre-market high, or not the pre-market high, the morning high was right around 525. And we can see that we had a breakout right at 10:40 a.m. and it had a high of around 575. On the pullback, a general rule in technical analysis is that previous resistance is going to act as new support. And this right here would have been the second best prime time entry to take, buying into this dip, anticipating that the support is going to hold. And the reason why this area here is a tiny bit better like in the morning action here, is because, like, let's say you bought in right in here, like in the 480s. Where would you be comfortable with stopping out? I mean, yeah, you could stop out like at like the $0.50 mark, but we can see that because the stock is so volatile, it isn't uncommon to see it drop as low as 430 and just rebound right back. So it would be kind of hard to justify having a stop down there, but at the same time, you don't really want to risk 50 cents per share. So that would have been kind of a hard entry to justify. But when it comes to this second entry right here, it's a terrible arrow. When it comes to this entry right here, using the fact that we have previous resistance as support, is that you can also use the VWAP line as kind of like a line to use as your risk. And if you had entered anywhere in between 515 to 530, you could very easily use the break under VWAP, and not just VWAP, but you could use the break under the whole dollar line that's also on the daily chart. And now if you do that, your risk is kind of a lot more understandable. You can justify it based on the chart, based on the VWAP, and it's not just picking some random arbitrary number, because we know, like, if this had fallen down through VWAP and through $5, the chart is pretty much broken and it has a very low chance of recovering and going the way that we want it to. So you can use that VWAP kind of like a line to use as a place to stop out underneath. Not all the time, but in this certain instance, it would have worked very well. And if you took that entry there, you know that your risk is around 30 cents per share, right? So you want to make at least 2 to 1, maybe even 3 to 1 dollars profit with that trade. And you could just base it just saying, okay, I'm going to get in here at 525. I'm going to risk 25 cents per share. That means I want to make at least 75 cents per share. And we know that there is resistance at $6. So that is totally feasible. It's not out of the picture to see this test resistance when the stock is uptrending. And it could even break out. It could even break out and go even higher up to the next resistance level. So this is a very good trade to take, right? So we can see that essentially what you would have done with this trade is lock in some profits into that $6. If you want to hold more, just make sure that you raise your stop up to like 590s. And then once it hits the next level on the daily chart, just sell it all, because that's a very, very solid trade. So there are like a few more points on the stock that were also very good entries over here and over here. I'm not going to talk about those too much on this video because those are what I cover extremely extensively within the Private Trading Academy. We had, I believe, like a 1 hour long webinar today just talking all about EDSA, and we have just webinars every single day, 2 times a day actually, one in pre-market and one after market close, where I talk about my trades and the stocks that moved that day. So I'm not going to spoil that too much in this video, but yeah, so EDSA was a very good stock. The whole thing about trading in this current market is that it is not super strong, and you have to practice patience, you have to practice discipline. Because if you just try to buy any stock that's breaking out and spiking, you have to be very, very perfect with your trading, and that is just almost irrational to think that you could be a perfect trader every single day, day in and day out. Because if you had traded like a stock like CTRM, and let's say that you bought this breakout, the $5 per share breakout, you only had like 28 cents per share to make within like 10 seconds. And if you were not quick enough, you would have been absolutely crushed. So it's not so much trading whatever stock opens up big in the morning. It's not so much about trading a breakout. It's about being very selective with what stocks you want to trade, understanding what strategies work best for you through data-backed conviction, That means tracking your trades in Excel, tracking your trades across the board, and understanding exactly which strategies you do best with and throwing out the rest. Keep in mind, trading is not going to come to you overnight. It's not going to take one trade to make you a great trader. It's all the steps of small, consistent improvements to yourself and to your system that will make you profitable over time. All right, so hopefully you guys enjoyed this lesson. If you do, please leave a like down below, hit the subscribe button. If you have any questions about what I said today, leave a comment down below and I'll be happy to help you. And now we're going to get into the monthly giveaway that I do every day in TradeBuddy. All right, hope you guys enjoy. So like I said, at the end of this video, we're going to be doing a monthly giveaway for the TradeBuddy members. This is a thing I do just to give back to the community and help stimulate and promote the idea of recapping your trades. It's one of the most important things I believe when it comes to trading. And this is just a way that I help my members go through the process of recapping their trades and thinking about what they did right and what they did wrong. So we have a channel within our chat room that's called Daily Recaps. And essentially one post in there per day is one entry, into the monthly giveaway. And every single month, I count up every single entry, I make tickets for it, and I do this monthly giveaway. So with that being said, let's see who won for this month. So this month we're giving away a $250 gift card to Amazon. And I'm just gonna look away, pick one of these. Okay, I got one, and let's see. Looks like it is Robin. So Robin is a short seller, and he's been doing very good shorting. He shorts big caps and small caps, and he's very diligent just with recapping his trades. And most importantly, he talks about his trades in real time. He lets people know what he's doing, where he's shorting, what his plan is. So I'm glad that Robin was able to win this month. So I'm gonna contact him through the chat room. And yeah, like I said, if you want to see any more information about TradeBuddy, there's information down below. We have a monthly and a lifetime option. And I hope you guys found value in this video. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment down below. And I'll see you guys in the next one.